Well, howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, you asked for it, you're going to get it. Everybody's been after me to install Windows Server 2019 on the Dell. Well, on one of the Dells, so that's what I'm going to do. The original Dell I bought a couple of years ago when I first started out this YouTube channel is the one we're going to be working on today, but with a bit of a twist. So, come on. Let's get the video started right now, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, when I say I'm going to do things a little bit differently, you know me. I like to play with different things and move stuff around in my lab, and today is no different. But the other benefit of this, one of these Dells, is that it has dual CPUs, a whole bunch of RAM, and a whole bunch of CPU cores that are going to waste. So it also serves as a virtualization machine in addition to my other Dell servers, which are going to be running Windows Server 2019 as well. So it'll give me the ability to move virtual machines around. It just gives me a lot more flexibility. So keep that in mind. Now, there were several ways I could have gone on this Dell. I could have put FreeNAS on here. I could have put Unraid on here, and as you know, we did try Unraid, and I just wasn't real happy with it. And not that Unraid or FreeNAS are bad, it's just they don't serve my needs. And I'm a Windows guy, so I want Windows Server on here. So that's what we're going to install on here today. So, Creepy McCreepy, I got him that shirt. Show everybody your shirt, Jerry. I love that shirt. I saw that shirt out at the store the other day and I just couldn't resist. Let me get my head on straight. Okay, so let's talk about what we had to do to make this happen. I want to use all 6 drive bays in this Dell server. They're 3.5-inch drive bays. So, the problem is when you install Windows, you can't install Windows to a USB key. You wouldn't be happy with installing it to an SD card. So I had to find a way to put a hard drive, a small hard drive, into that Dell server. So what I did was I ordered this server did not come with a DVD tray, DVD player. So I ordered one off of eBay. I think I paid $20 for it. I don't need the DVD drive, but I needed the power and data cable that come with it because they're a special cable made for that Dell. So I've ordered that, and then I had a DVD tray adapter that allows you to insert a 2.5-inch hard drive into a DVD tray, slide it into the Dell, plug the cable in, bing, bang, boom, Bob's your uncle, you got everything working. So that's what I've done, and I decided to go with an SSD drive just so it would boot quick, and you know. The other thing I needed to do was move some drives around. So let's go to the footage and I'll show you me installing both of those items and moving those drives around. So this is a neat little item I picked up a few months ago, and it's specifically for that Dell R710. I went ahead and purchased a DVD ROM drive online from eBay just to get the cable that plugs onto the back of this, and I wanted to have a DVD drive. But this is a DVD drive. It's made for a laptop, but it'll work in a Dell server. And what it allows you to do is put a hard drive in place of the DVD ROM drive and use it as a standard hard drive. So what I've done is installed an SSD drive in here, and what I'm going to do is put this into that Dell. Okay, I apologize for the lighting. Well, here I have this is the reason I got the optical drive, was to get this cable. So the power cable goes down and plugs onto the motherboard, and then this cable plugs into the A port on the serial ATA controller on the motherboard. And then basically all you do is you take this drive, and you insert it into there, and then I'm going to plug the cable into the back of it, and we should be good to go. Now the other problem I'm going to have is I'm moving my drives out of my Xpenology NAS over to this Dell. The problem is 2 of those drives are 3 terabyte drives, And the H200 controller I have in there is old. It has not been flashed into IT mode. In fact, this is it right here. This is an H200 original from that Dell. The problem is the firmware on here is too old, and it's not flash in IT mode. Now, not being flash in IT mode is not a deal killer. It'll still, via Windows, it'll still pass smart through this controller from your drive. So not a problem in Windows. But if in FreeNAS and Unraid, it worked, but FreeNAS, it wouldn't work with this controller. So I went ahead and I went on eBay and bought a pre-flashed controller. It was flashed into IT mode, and that's what I had to put into that Dell in order to get it to recognize those 3 terabyte drives. So let's go watch me put that into the Dell. It's very exciting stuff, I promise you. Alright, so there is the HBA 200 that I need to take out. If I believe what I'm told, it's time to pull the old one out and put the new one in. So, see if I can film this. First thing I want to do is take the drive controller cables. I'm going to open this up. Take this card out. Here's the one I'm taking out. So this one is not flashed. This one is. But I need to take the little bracket off. So let me go back to the bench and take the bracket off. Alright, so I've got the card finagled. And let's see if I can get it installed in here now. I'll dump it here in the front. Actually, let's come in the back here first. Then the front, and then it should simply slide in like that. Connect our back cable. Make sure that's plugged in. Plug this cable in. Make sure they're both seated well. They appear to be. Okay, then put the fan unit back in. Okay. I put the baffle back on so we get proper airflow. Okay. Time to put the cover back on. So there's the new HBA. It's seated. Supposedly this one is flashed in IT mode. You can see this little blue cable goes up to the SSD drive, or to the DVD drive. It's actually an SSD holder. That's what I needed that cable for. Alright, so now that we have the adapter installed, let's see if it breaks our server. Man, I am so glad I put those servers in a rack and put them on rack rails and went to all the expense and trouble, because lifting that damn server out of that rack is a real pain in the rear end. Well, it says system halted, invalid PCI card found in the internal storage slot. So, alright, now that I've moved that card to a different slot, let's see if it powers on, or it gives me an error. Now I've taken it, what I've done is taken that H200 card out of the dedicated slot for the controller and put it into a PCI Express card slot, 4X slot, which is all I should need. And this is a common known issue when you flash these into IT mode. If you don't get the card that was made for that slot, it gets the wrong assignment number, and Dell says no, it's not a valid card. So we'll see if it goes past at this point. At least I'm not getting a panic error where I was getting before. And I'm just going to go ahead and go into system setup just to make sure everything is where it should be. So here it is. Here's the SAS card. Now it should hopefully just see all these drives in there if I've done my job properly. Okay, sees them all. Okay, good. That's a good sign. Now I'm going to go into the boot manager, so I want to boot off the USB key. Now since I have now what I'm going to do is tell it to boot off the hard drive and the USB flash disk. Alright, here we are. So we're up to the install screen. I'm glad setup is starting, finally. So we're going to do Windows Server 2019 Standard Desktop Experience. That installs the GUI. I'm a GUI guy, as you know. I am a GUI kind of guy, and I'll accept the license terms. And I'm going to do a custom install. And is it going to let me install? Oh, I'm a lucky bastard, aren't I? Wow, that worked. Okay. Alright, now we're at the screen where it is asking for our super secret password. Now the first thing I like to do is shut off Server Manager from popping up every time I log in. And then I'm going to take care of a few things like the time. Sorry, hit the wrong button. Set it to my time zone. For some reason Microsoft thinks I live in California. And I don't. Alright, now the thing to do next is to see if we can insert those other hard drives back into the system and still boot to Windows. So let's go ahead and shut down Windows. And you'll see Windows 2019 looks very much like Windows 10. Well, in fact, they're the same thing, with different applications piled on top. So now what I'm going to do is physically get off of my big butt, and I'm going to walk over to the server and reinsert the drives. Alright, so as you can see, I'm now RDPing into that server. I went ahead and did all the updates, the Windows updates, and then I installed DriveBender. So now, pardon me as I drink some water, what you and I are going to do live, as opposed to dead, we're going to see if we can recover our DriveBender drive pool. And after we recover it, hey, looky here, that was really difficult, wasn't it? One of the reasons I like DriveBender. So you've asked, you people have asked, hey, what happens if you lose your Windows setup or whatever? How easily recoverable is the data? Well, this is one of the ways. So I'm going to tell it yes, do a pool restore. Okay, it said there were 5 drives found and restored. I'm going to tell it okay. There they are. And we should see there they are. We should actually see another 930 gig hard drive out there, but we're not seeing it. Oh yeah, I know why. It's uninitialized. But there you go, folks. There's our drive bender drive pool. And let's see if our data is actually there. Now sometimes when you first bring up drive bender, you have to, and that folder's empty. Let's see, music. Yep, so music's there. Photos. Yep. Video. Yep. Okay, so it's all there. Great. Good news. Now let's say if we can't add another drive to drive bender. So let's come down here to disk management. Make sure all our disks are initialized and formatted. There was one disk in there that was unassigned, I believe, before. So we'll go and make sure that oh God, that's bright. All right, so yeah, here we go, right here. So disk 2. So let's go ahead and let's delete that volume. Okay, now it's unallocated. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. And I'm going to not assign a drive letter. I'm going to do REFS. And I call it DB6. Call it whatever you like. It's not going to matter because once you add it to drive bender, it's going to take it over. We'll let that finish, and then I'm going to take off the drive letter assignments for this. Or actually, I'm going to remove it. Yes. I don't want to see the drive letters of my drive bender drives. I just don't need to see that. If I was in recovery mode, I would leave that on. I would assign a drive letter. Okay, so now we're going to close that. And now we're going to open drive bender manager again. And we'll see if we can't add that 6th drive to the array. Yeah, here we go. So here's my other drives, and I can click on the plus, and I'll accept the defaults, and one of those is it manages the drive letters. Add it to the pool. And we're good. So now we have how much free space, folks? 3.36 terabytes. Okay, it's still calculating what we have actually stored on there. Yeah, and here we go. This is what happens sometimes when you add a drive to the pool. And it actually fixes itself, but what I have noticed before though is if I come out here and try to make a folder, nope, it let me do it. Good. Well, we have 3.36 terabyte free of 7.27 terabytes, so there you go. Well, there you go, YouTube. That'll wrap it up for this video. We hope you found it entertaining and informative. As always, please remember, give us a thumbs up down below. Leave your comments down in the comments section. And I guess we'll see you guys on the other side.